So how do you buy a second-hand car in South Africa and not get ripped off, held up, or otherwise done in? The guys at We Buy Cars have been doing this now for nearly 18 years. It's a family business started by two brothers, the Faan brothers. They've perfected the art and today probably sell between 5 and 6% of all second-hand cars in South Africa. They're so big that the Competition Commission is worried about a deal that Naspers wants to do with them. Naspers has made an offer for 1.4 billion rand for this business. Competition Commission has parked it. There's an appeal underway. It probably will still go through. But how do you ensure that this vehicle, which sits on your floor, is not a stolen vehicle, that nobody's messed with the odometer, if you can still do those sorts of things? How do you do that?
That's an interesting question, and we obviously want to be responsible and aim to be accurate in everything we do. So it all starts when we purchase the vehicle to do all random checks and various checks to make sure that what we are buying is actually a legitimate vehicle. So, for instance, we won't buy a vehicle from you if you've only had it on your name for a week, because then obviously it's a suspicious deal. We'll verify the paperwork, we'll check whether there's any outstanding finance on the vehicle, etc. And then, regarding the vehicle itself, there's a lot of cloned vehicles around where professional crooks have altered the VIN numbers. So you've got to be vigilant in checking those things. Luckily, you have data dots on a lot of vehicles, and you can do quite a few checks to just try and see whether this is a legitimate vehicle.
Do some slip by the goalie, though? I mean, from time to time.
Sometimes, the crooks are really clever, so these things will come through, and then we'll adopt and put measurements in place to make sure that we don't buy vehicles that are fraudulent. So luckily, we're very lucky. It seldomly happens with us because we train our buyers thoroughly. And when we're in doubt, when something looks too good to be true, we'll avoid that.
I mean, who's your customer? There are such a wide range of individuals. There are clearly husband and wife teams who are in here looking at cars. There's some people with kids. But then there's some guys, there are 3 or 4 guys looking at vehicles, individual vehicles, and deep discussion happening between them. Who's the customer?
Oh, so we serve everyone. We sell quite a large percentage of our vehicles to motor dealers, the formal motor dealers, as well as informal traders. So you'd find someone buying a vehicle from us, and he's back 3 months later buying another vehicle. So he's doing that, to make a few bucks and as a hobby or a sideline or as an income. So we've got that, and then obviously you have your motorists looking for a new vehicle. Because we stock such a wide range, anything from the lowest price range is 40,000 rand all the way up to over 1 million rand. So you can find anything under the sun here.
But I mean, I saw an Audi A4 with a big ding in the boot. It looks like somebody reversed into a pole that they didn't see. And I mean, you know how poles jump into the way. You've got such a massive operation here. Do you not fix up the cars before you flog them?
No, surprisingly we don't. So the way we buy it, we add value by making the vehicle available here at a centralized location. We advertise the vehicle, and you can come to one place and buy vehicles. But we find that once we start fixing, you don't know where to stop. So we prefer just selling the vehicle as is, and that provides an opportunity for the next person to get it at a cheaper rate and to fix if he wants to fix it.
So a guy who maybe got a panel beating shop can be running a car dealership on the side, buying cars that are slightly dinged, fixing them up at a really good rate and making his margin that way.
Yes, we do have those cars, but the majority of the cars are in good condition and don't need any reconditioning.
And there's also a wide range. I mean, there's an old City Golf down there, there's a long line of Porsches over there. I mean, price obviously isn't a constraint.
Yeah, so what we aim to do is to, at the point of selling, when a motorist, someone owning a vehicle, want to sell it, we really aim to help that person regardless what brand of vehicle you're driving, regardless of the kilometers, because that vehicle does hold a certain value and we don't want to disregard.
It might only be 5 grand for spares, but it's 5 grand.
It has value, and that's a service we provide. So we love buying the beautiful cars, but we also buy any car in any condition, and provide that service to a potential seller.
Is there such a thing as a deal anymore? Can anybody go and get a good deal? People used to go and drive to Rustenburg because there was a dealer on the corner of a street who always did better deals than the guy in Jeppe Street down in downtown Joburg, when there was the opportunity for arbitrage. But the internet has made that arbitrage opportunity almost non-existent, surely.
No, people do haggle. We try and sell cars really quickly. So we feel that, the market must be competitive, rather have less profit but turn your cars really quick. So I think that is the reason the second-hand market is maintaining the numbers, and hasn't been in a decline like the new vehicles, is because of the competitiveness in the market. We really hope that the new car sales would pick up, and last month it did. Slightly, so we see that as a positive signal, and hopefully, because if we don't sell new cars, then the market is not going to grow. There won't be opportunities.
I mean, because we have seen new car sales drop off quite precipitously, which implies then the second-hand car market is far more vibrant. How do you treat the second-hand car market as a barometer for the economy?
I think it's a fair barometer. People are really budget conscious in the current economic climate. It's really difficult, so people think twice before spending a lot of money on a new car when they can have a good, reliable option, in the second-hand market. People, would much rather buy a second-hand vehicle knowing that it would keep its value. It's probably, on a flatter depreciation curve than a brand new vehicle.
Now, I often get surprised when you go and you look through the classifieds and you go onto car websites and stuff, and you see cars with mileages of 5,000 or 10,000 kilometers, and you go, why has anybody spent a vast amount of money on a brand new car, driven it for a little bit, and then selling it? Because that first month's depreciation is the most dramatic in the life of any car.
Yeah, and we get that. We sell cars that's been won in competitions, got 0 kilometers on. But it's weird. People's situations change. The one day you're ordering a new vehicle, and the next week you're being employed in a different country, and you move on, or you're lucky and you're getting a company vehicle, or you've just inherited another vehicle, or you've just really found that this car that you've bought doesn't fit in your garage, and you have to make the choice, am I going to build a new garage or just going to buy another vehicle? So that's the sort of things that happen.
If the Naspers deal doesn't happen, what happens to We Buy Cars?
It's business as usual. It would be great if the deal happens, but if it doesn't, for us, it's business as usual. We're not really dependent on that capital to do our business. We can scale and grow our business, and we're trying to do that every day. So I don't think people would even notice whether the deal happens or doesn't happen.
I mean, the Competition Commission is making it quite difficult for deals to be done, and they've got a job to do, and that's understandable. But a lot of business people are getting quite frustrated by the fact that they see the constraints happening. Deals take too long to do. Circumstances change. The environment changes. If you want to do a deal quickly, it takes a long time to happen in South Africa. We need to grease these wheels, literally, in order to get the transactions happening quicker.
Yeah, and that's really, really frustrating to us, because the worst thing that can happen is not knowing. So just make the decisions quicker. That's what we ask. Let's arrive at a point where you know what to do sooner. I think a lot more investment will happen in South Africa, if those wheels are greased, and we can have the real decision makers making positive decisions, stimulating the economy, and employment grows, and there's just a lot more confidence.
Did you buy your last car from We Buy Cars?
Yes, I did. I always do.
Okay, now I'm just checking. And on Friday afternoon, do you pop in and go, this weekend I fancy the Range Rover, or next weekend I fancy the Volvo XC90, or whatever it might be?
Yes, it's one of the perks of a job.
It's research. It's not a perk, it's a research tool.
Absolutely. You have to drive everything to have an opinion.
And he's got lots of those. Faan van der Walt, thank you very much indeed. The co-founder of We Buy Cars, an 18-year-old South African startup, funded, bootstrapped with money, gleaned through 2 years of teaching in the United Kingdom, where he saved a lot of money, 300,000 Rand in those days. This is the startup capital to go and buy cars one at a time. Now you have almost 1,500 inquiries a day, of which a good 6,000 cars are traded through the platform every single month. It's a good 5-6% of every second-hand car traded in South Africa each and every single month. We watch this space. The Naspers deal is an important one. They've got 1.4 billion Rand they're willing to invest in this business to make it an even bigger player in the South African environment. Thank you for watching Taking Stock here on ENCA. Till next time, bye-bye.